Botox cosmetic injections are the #1 aesthetic procedure worldwide. It has a track record of both safety and effectiveness. So why is the FDA and some local departments of health investigating several cases across 9 different states of people who had cosmetic Botox injections and developed botulism? Hi, I'm Dr. Messina, and I've been injecting Botox since 1989. And in this video, we're going to learn why this is happening, and more importantly, how you could avoid it from happening to yourself. Botox came out in the late 1970s as a treatment for spasticity of muscle groups. People may have had a stroke or cerebral palsy or multiple sclerosis, where they would develop different levels of tension in muscles, leading to cramping and spasm. When you inject Botox, you inhibit a nerve from firing and stimulating its end organ. If it's a muscle, you get muscle relaxation or even paralysis. If it's a sweat gland, you get decreased sweat production. It could be used to treat spasticity in the larynx as well as the bladder. And it could break spasms of large muscle groups. More commonly today, it's used for cosmetic purposes in the glabellar region, the frontalis, and the crow's feet, and those use significantly smaller doses. Botox is very safe. Someone asked on Real Self, did anyone die from Botox? And the doctor answered no, but that's actually wrong. In the early days, when it wasn't certain as to how many units should be given, a few children with cerebral palsy were given it for spasticity in their legs, and they developed botulism and died. But now, many years later, we understand the proper dosages for each different area. And we really don't see that anymore. Can a vial of Botox give you botulism? No, it would take many vials. It would take 2,000 or more units. A vial only has 50 or 100 units in it. Are there side effects to Botox injections? Of course, there are side effects to every medical treatment. We have 2 types, transient benign and severe. The transient ones would be pain in the injection site, swelling at the injection site, bruising, getting a black and blue, dropping a brow, dropping an eyelid, double vision should the injection actually get to these little extraocular eye muscles. That's usually an injector problem. And the headache. Those are the common ones. Now, if you're starting to develop botulism, that's very different. You'll have profound fatigue. You'll start to feel weak. It'll be very difficult to stand and walk. You'll start to have difficulty swallowing, later difficulty breathing. You might end up on a ventilator. You could even die. Those are severe complications. With regular Botox, you usually don't see them unless you have ultra-high doses. Like I said, that 2,000 unit mark. There's one caveat with that. Neck injections. Neck injections can give you some similarities to botulism. You can develop a difficulty in swallowing because when you're injecting, you're very close to your larynx and that delicate infrastructure that's required for proper swallowing. So why would these people suddenly develop botulism across these 9 different states? Well, the FDA and the departments of health have noted 3 similarities in all of these cases. First, they all went to non-licensed personnel. There's only 3 people legally able to give you Botox. It's a physician, a nurse, or a physician's assistant. No beautician, no medical esthetician. In fact, that doesn't exist. There is no medical training in that. Number 2, none of them were given at a medical office. They were given at a spa, a salon, a van, and in a house. And finally, they were all given counterfeit Botox. You might say, counterfeit Botox, how does that even happen and what is it? We're going to explain right now. Like I said, Botox is a medical procedure. And to start administering it, the physician has to take training. And then they have to prove to Allergan, if they're going to use Botox, or Galderma, if they're going to use Dysport, that they have an active medical license. And they could get it that way. Now, when something is so popular, everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon. But not everybody is going to be qualified to make this purchase. So what do? You start to go to other sources. The easiest way would be to do a Google search and find some foreign pharmacies willing to ship you the Botox. Should be a red flag because in many of them you don't even need a prescription or prove you have a license. That's a problem from the get-go. Now, if you outsource it to other countries, in general, Canada, Australia, Ireland, United Kingdom, those are generally safe, but it's illegal to do that in the United States. The problem with some of these foreign pharmacies is they outsource the distributors. So you might get Botox that you think you're getting from Canada, in reality came from China. This was highlighted a few years back when a plastic surgeon in California, looking to save a few bucks, ordered foreign Botox. You see, foreign Botox is approximately 1/3 the price of Botox bought in the United States. And what he thought he was getting was Canadian, instead was Chinese. And it actually had botulinum toxin type A, the most powerful neurotoxin known to man. Now both Dysport and Botox are derivatives of that botulinum toxin type A, but they're controlled and the doses is controlled. So every dose is uniform, every vial is uniform. That Botox that came from China was 100 times as potent as what we would expect in the United States. And some of his patients ended up in the intensive care unit, some ended up on a ventilator, and some died. California did put in some measures to stop this, but it's really like putting your finger in the hole of a dam. When too many people are already doing it, it's just going to explode. The other way would be to have it compounded. In the early 1900s, pharmacies often made the medication that a physician prescribed. We saw that, by the way, in It's a Wonderful Life, when the pharmacist mixed up arsenic instead of an antibiotic for the little child. That type of incidence is what caused compounding to almost disappear. Now, all your medications are made through the pharmaceutical company. However, you could still find compounding pharmacies, and you could say, I'd like to have a vial of 100-unit Botox, please. Here we have an example of Botox from Allergan. If we notice, it says Botox, and on the right, we see a little hologram that says Allergan. Well, foreign or imported Botox is not going to say Botox Cosmetic, and it's not going to have that hologram. Here is something from a compounding pharmacy. Plain glass jar that says Botox. Big problems. Number one, you have no idea of the quality control or the sterility. You have no idea of a dose-to-dose equalness. One vial might have 100 units, the next vial might have 80 units, the third vial might have 150 units, depending on how it was mixed up. And these things have to be refrigerated at all times. So you don't know really what's going on, especially when you order it from overseas and it takes a week to arrive versus overnight in a refrigerated box when it's done through the proper channels. That was a big problem. They believed that it was probably compounded counterfeit Botox, where you don't really know what you're giving and the patient doesn't know what they're getting. So what can you do to prevent it happening to yourself? Unfortunately, the public has lost respect for Botox. They no longer consider it a medical procedure, which it is. They consider it a commodity. And when you consider something a commodity, you neglect to think about, where did it come from? Who is giving it? Are they qualified to give it? Is this the right place to be? Instead, you focus on, how much is it per unit? It's a very typical scenario. Person calls the office. Does the doctor offer Botox? Yes. How much is it a unit? Okay, thank you. That's the worst question to ask. It should be the last question you ask. The scenario should go, does the doctor offer Botox? Is he trained to offer the Botox? How long has he been doing it? Does he have an account with Allergan where the medication is coming to the office from the proper source, or is he using mail order? Those are the questions, and if you like what you hear, then how much is it a unit? Second, don't go by price alone. Don't come in with a coupon and say, can you meet this? And you look at the price and it's less than it cost me to buy it. There's something wrong right from the get-go, and I'll tell the patients. I'll say that filler or that Botox or that Dysport is under my cost. You're not getting what you think you're getting. Don't use companies like Groupon and Living Social and any of these deep discount places where the injector is going to take 1/4 of the regular price. That's great for getting your windows done or getting a car wash or a dinner, but not a medical treatment. I could assure you there's something not on the up and up with that. Next, where are you going to get it? You're always going to be safer at a genuine medical office with a private practitioner than you will be going to a salon or a hair salon or a nail salon even, or worse, in a van. I don't know who would do that. Now, I know people are going to say, oh no, I go to a medical spa, there's a doctor there and they're great. That's fine. I'm not saying they're all bad. I know a few doctors that run medical spas and that's their office and they're there all the time and they oversee everything. That's very different than a spa that hires somebody to roam in and out for a few reasons. You don't know who you're getting, you don't know what their qualifications are, and if you run into a complication, it tends to be very difficult to find them. Do your homework. You will be best served to go to someone in your community who has a good reputation and thousands of happy patients than somebody who just opened or somebody who took a course on Saturday for 8 hours and is now going to start injecting on Monday. And following just some simple rules and some simple logic to just see if everything is on the up and up. So I hope this alleviated some of your fears now that we're seeing these Botox catastrophes. And now you understand how important it is to really do some research and know exactly what you're getting. If you like my videos, remember, give me a thumbs up, click subscribe, and I'll catch you at the next video.